Hi guys, it's Rach. So for today's video I thought I would do a little travel video that I actually promised about a month ago. I did a Q&A about my trip to America and I had a lot of questions about what I took on the plane, what makeup I took, things like that. So I decided to do separate videos for those and I'm only just getting around to doing them now. I apologize. So today's video will be my aeroplane essentials, things that I took on the plane, both beauty related and non-beauty related. And then I'll also do a what's in my travel makeup bag, as well as like a little review of a makeup bag that I have since bought, if you guys would like to see that. So definitely let me know in the comments below if that's something that you'd be interested in. But let's get into today's stuff. So this is things that I would take on a plane. So there are rules and restrictions on what kind of beauty products, particularly liquids and powders and things that you can take on a plane, and most require you to have everything in a bottle or a container that's under 100 mils or 100 grams and can fit into a clear plastic bag like this. So this is the one that I have. This is actually from Mascara and it came with a couple of different little bottles in it that you could use to decant some of your products and put them in. This was standard and it's something that will pass sort of all the airport regulations and restrictions, and I got this from Priceline. So I'm just going to go through what I took in this little bag here. I kind of found that it's best to try and be as minimal as possible. I've even taken out some of the things that I did take to America with me because they just weren't useful at all. So this is kind of a what I took plus sort of my changes that I've made based on actually experiencing that travel. So the first thing I have here is some tissues. Obviously these probably don't need to go in this clear thing, but I just found that it was easiest. You never know when you're going to get a runny nose, a sniffly nose, if you're going to need to wipe your hands, if you're going to spill something. Tissues are just always handy. The next thing that I have here is a hand cream. This one is from L'Occitane, but flying can be very dehydrating on the skin. So having a hand cream is great for your hands, but also if your skin anywhere starts to feel dehydrated, even your feet, this is just one of those things that you kind of a multi-purpose one, just so you can get a little bit of moisture back in. Another thing that I have here are some makeup remover wipes. These ones are the Swissber's natural ones and it comes with 5 wipes. So you actually get a packet like this small, which is fantastic because if you do like to wear your makeup to the airport, you can remove it on the plane, because I don't recommend wearing your makeup for the entire trip. It will feel gross after a few hours, particularly if it's a long haul flight. This obviously for me was like a 14-hour flight kind of thing, so a very long flight, and I wanted to be able to remove my makeup, and these were great because it's just sort of compact and convenient. Again, you can also use it to sterilize your hands or sort of clean you off if you start to feel a little bit hot and sweaty or just a little bit gross. It's kind of like a shower in a little packet. Speaking of feeling hot and sweaty and gross, if you can get a little deodorant, you will be forever grateful for having it with you, because it just, by the end of the flight I was starting to feel like I smelt. I kind of sniffed myself, didn't really smell, but I felt gross, and just a little bit of deodorant sometimes just makes you feel that little bit cleaner, a little bit fresher, even if you can't use it on the plane. Like when I first got off the plane and was able to go to the bathroom, it was just easy to have this in my carry-on bag, to have it really convenient and there. I would also recommend having some kind of perfume with you, again, to go along with that, just making sure you smell nice after you've been traveling for a long time. If you're going from Australia to Europe, say, you can be traveling for 24 hours, 30 hours kind of thing, depending on how long your stopovers are. So a little bit of perfume goes a long way. This one is the Clean Shower Fresh fragrance, just nice, and having it in a roller ball just makes it easy while you're traveling. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit on now. Next in my little bag of mystery here, I have a face mask. This is the Avene hydrating or soothing moisture mask. Now the reason that I added this one is because it's kind of like a moisturizer and a mask in one. So when I took my makeup off, I could apply this. It kind of just soaks into your skin. This is one that you don't need to wash off or anything like that. You can actually rub it in and it'll basically disappear, and this just added a little bit of hydration to my skin. It stopped it drying out while I was on the plane and just made it feel quite nice, but it was no mess, no fuss, and it worked kind of like a moisturizer as well. I did, however, also take a moisturizer, and I mean, you could take one or the other. If you don't think you'd put the mask on, maybe just a moisturizer would be good. I would recommend, no matter what type of skin you have, whether you have dry skin, oily skin, do take a moisturizer with you, because I wasn't really even sure if it would happen, but my skin did dry out more than I expected to from the recycled kind of air on the plane. So I just have a little Clinique. This is the Turnaround Overnight Radiance Moisturizer. I took this specifically because it's like a little sample size. If you don't have a sample size, you can always just decant some of your favorite moisturizer into one of these little kind of like travel things. This one here again is from Mascara. Just put a little bit in there. This one has like a little stopper and everything, so it doesn't leak on you, and you will be grateful that you took some moisturizer. And then you can also use it while you're traveling as well. It's not just for on the plane. Speaking of staying moisturized, I also would recommend a lip balm, taking your favorite lip balm. This is my new current favorite, best sort of lip balm ever, really. I mean, in terms of what it can do for your skin. This is the Nuxe Rêve de Miel lip balm. I don't really like the smell of this, I don't really like the texture of this, but this stuff really fixes your skin. It can fix dry skin, it can fix cracked lips, and I would never travel without this, I don't think, anymore. I really like it. Now, depending on who you're flying with, you may get a toothbrush, a little set like this, but I took one just in case, and we didn't get a toothbrush or anything like that, so I'm really glad that I had it. This I picked up in Priceline. It's just a little Colgate travel toothbrush and little tiny toothpaste. There's enough in this that could get you through a couple of flights, so you could just use it on the way there and on your way home. And if you're feeling like your teeth are just gross again, it's all about how clean you want to feel sort of towards the end of the flight and how long you're flying. This is just a lifesaver to have. You can take it into the bathroom and just give your teeth a quick brush. I also have in here some hand sanitizer, just again to keep your hands clean. You're touching a lot of public places and things that, especially since you eat so much on the plane as well, and then you go into the bathrooms and things like that, I felt better having some hand sanitizer, and this one here is from Bath & Body Works. And the last thing that I have in here is a little bit of makeup. Honestly, when you've been traveling for a really long time, you find that the last thing that you even care about is how you look or what makeup's on your face. But if you know that you have to go from a plane straight to something, then you may want a little bit of makeup. But again, the key is keep it as minimal as possible, because you're not going to have a lot of time or a lot of space. I mean, you will have a lot of time if you want to, but you don't have a lot of space to sort of apply your makeup, and the bathrooms are honestly gross, so you don't want to be spending a lot of time in there. So things that I would recommend, one is a powder. I have the Benefit Halo Flawless powder. I like this one because it gives a little bit of coverage. It has a mirror, so you've got your mirror built in there. You've also got your little brush or sponge underneath there as well, so it's all compact, means less space taken up in your little case here. I would also recommend a cheek colour just to make you look a little bit more awake if you've been up for like the last 24 hours. I have a Stila convertible cheek colour here, or cheek and lip colour, because you can, again, this has a mirror, but it also has a thing that you can just blend in with your fingers on your cheeks to give you a little bit of colour, tap a little bit on your lips to give them a little bit of colour too. It will make you look awake very quickly. For lips, I have a lip gloss here. This is just the Marc Jacobs one. You just want something that can add a little bit of colour, a little bit of shine to your lips. Again, it will just make you feel a little bit more put together and look a little bit more awake. And then the last three things I have in here are concealer. You want something that can blend easily, that you can apply with your fingers, and that you can use on small areas both under your eyes and then on any blemishes or discoloration you might have. For that, I have the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. It also doesn't take up too much space, which is great. Mascara is another great way to make yourself look awake and feel a little bit put together. I have the Kevyn Aucoin The Volume Mascara. Really easy to apply, and I also like that it's quite slimline, doesn't take up a lot of space. And then last but not least, because I just can't not do my eyebrows. I mean, if I'm going to do the rest of my face, then I'm going to want to put a little bit of something through my eyebrows. I have the Hourglass Arch Pencil. Great because it has the pencil. It's really quick and easy to apply. And then it also has the spoolie, so even if you don't want to apply anything, you just want to like brush through your eyebrows, you can do that with this one. So they are all my aeroplane sort of beauty essentials. I think those things will just really help you. You don't want to take too much, and I mean that was pared back for me. If you're even less of a beauty girl, then you could probably like even skip the makeup and some of the other things, but these will just help you feel comfortable on your flight. I do have a couple of other things that I wanted to mention that I think will just make the whole flying experience, particularly a long haul flying experience, just that little bit better. I don't do all this for like a short flight, say from Sydney to Queensland or anything like that. Don't even bother. This is like if you're going from Australia overseas somewhere, because pretty much everywhere bar say New Zealand is a really long way away. So first thing is a neck pillow. This is actually my mum's. She got this from Kmart. It was really cheap. I'd recommend buying one before you go because the ones in the airport are usually quite expensive. I got one from Typo and I quite liked that. However, I found that the neck was quite big. This one hugs your neck a bit better. So if you are sort of smaller, make sure you sort of try it on and sort of see, but you will definitely use your neck pillow, so I would recommend it. Another thing I'd recommend for your comfort is some fluffy socks. Again, your feet kind of get cold, and I was wearing more like sort of sandal type shoes, so once I'd been on the flight for a little while and was just planning on sitting and just watching a movie or something, it was nice to be able to take off your shoes and just put on some soft fluffy socks. One thing that I'd also recommend having with you is gum, because you never know what kind of airplane food that you're going to get, and the last thing that you want is to have stinky breath while you're sitting in such close confines to a lot of people. It'll also sort of make it, I guess I feel like my teeth are a little bit cleaner after I chew gum as well, so if you have to eat and then try and sleep and it's kind of hard for you to brush your teeth, this will just make you feel a little bit more comfortable. I would also recommend taking your own headphones if you have them. I flew Delta and they had like their own sort of entertainment system, and you were given headphones, but I found them really uncomfortable in my ears. So if you have a favorite pair of headphones, ones that you use all the time and that are comfortable, you'll find that most airplanes now do or will be able to support having your own headphones plugged in, so if you can, take them with you. Speaking of tech stuff, I would also recommend having your phone or iPad or both charger with you. I didn't have mine in my carry-on, I had it in my packed bag, and then I realized that while we're at some of the airports, they do have chargers there, so if you need to give your phone or your iPad or something a last minute bit of juice, it's worth having it with you, because you may find that there's somewhere to actually plug in your electronics, so carry that with you in your carry-on as opposed to in your like checked luggage. Also in that same vein, obviously, I had my phone and my iPad with me. I found that this was just handy just in case I wanted to read. I had a couple of books loaded on here. I also had a movie loaded on here. I honestly found that I probably used like the in-flight entertainment more than I used these things, but I also used like my phone to take photos with and stuff on the flight, to be like documenting the whole trip. So they are nice to have, and I definitely would recommend traveling with them, because even if you don't even if you turn off your data and your phone and that, you find that there's a lot of places that have free Wi-Fi, which makes it good to use Facebook and things to sort of connect back with people at home if you just need to let people know where you are. Lastly, I'd recommend to dress comfortably. I'd probably wear something like this because this is just the world's softest shirt. Also in your carry-on, I'd recommend having one full change of clothes just in case your bag goes missing or if it's delayed. That way you can get changed when you get off your flight, because I think the first thing I want to do is just get out of the clothes that I'd been wearing for the last, I don't know, 20 hours or so. So it's nice to be able to change, and it is just a really nice backup to have. And then some people do like to have like an eye mask or earplugs or things like that. That wasn't really for me. On the Delta flights, they did actually give you an eye mask and earplugs if you wanted to use them. As you can see, I didn't, but I mean, if I was going to travel again, maybe I'd take them with me just in case I decide to use them. If you're somebody who does sleep with an eye mask, then maybe that will make it more comfortable for you. But I found that they do dim the lights and everything on the plane, so you can pretty much, I found that if you're going to sleep, you're going to be able to sleep. If you're not going to be able to sleep, an eye mask is probably not going to make that much of a difference, at least not for me. So that's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my airplane essentials. I hope maybe it helped some of you who may be traveling very soon. If you are traveling, let me know where you're going and let me know what you're planning on taking on the plane. If you're somebody who travels a lot, are there any other tips and tricks that you can share with me and everyone else? I am not necessarily a world traveler. This is just kind of my experience based on my recent trip to America, but I'd love to hear trips from those of you who maybe travel a lot or spend a lot of time on airplanes and in airports and things like that. So I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all having a great day, and I'll talk to you guys all in my next video. Bye!
I belong with you, you belong with me.